my first price target for ICP in 2025 is $250. And of course, nothing I say is financial advice nor a guarantee. But why do I think so? It's because I believe that the internet computer is focused on such an amazing vision. And what is that? They're looking to create a decentralized version of the internet that is spread throughout thousands of computers around the world. Now, when I say this, some people may think, okay, that's kind of weird. Why would anyone look to, decentralize the internet? That's kind of caca, man. But I disagree, because if you take a look at the internet as of right now, many people often argue that it's a little bit too centralized. So, of course, it does need some decentralized aspects, which is where, something like the internet computer could step in, because as of right now, the internet arguably controlled by, big tech giants. Also, on top of that, typically they have these multiple single points of failures, people would argue. So, of course, there needs to be a solution in a sense, and that is the internet computer. So that's how amazing they are. But of course, there's more, because the cherry on top is the fact that it's actually, statistically speaking, the world's most productive blockchain, which is insane because, man, if you really think about it, there are so many blockchains out there, right? People keep saying that, oh, wow, this blockchain's better. Oh, this one's better. But again, the world's most productive blockchain, that's insane. The internet computer is currently facilitating over 500 million transactions per day, while at the same time maintaining reduced energy consumption and cost, which again means that it's the world's most productive blockchain. So yeah, that's so crazy to think about. Sometimes I kind of don't even believe it, but it's actually true. Yeah, even besides that point, you take a look at how oftentimes people like to say that, oh yeah, they're only focused on that. But there's actually more, because they're even focused on decentralized AI. Now you may be thinking, okay, regular AI, that's pretty good, but how does decentralization even play a part? Because actually through decentralization, there's going to be several advantages. Like for instance, of course, improved data security, arguably speaking, and also on top of that, improved scalability. So of course, those are two traits that I think a lot of people want. So of course, that's a benefit when it comes to decentralized AI. Now, you may be wondering, okay, some of the hype when it comes to AI did die down. It's kind of caca, has no future, just all hype again. But I disagree, because according to Grandview Research, the AI market is predicted to be worth nearly $2 trillion by 2030, which is insane, because if you actually take a look at it, we're just like so close to 2025 at this point. So 2030 is basically just 5 years away, which is kind of crazy. $2 trillion, that's bigger than some countries' GDP. So that's insane. So I think when the hype for AI does jump back in again, guess who's going to be there to catch the wave? It's going to be something like the internet computer, because again, they're focused on it right now when the hype necessarily isn't, at its peak. So then again, when the wave does come, they'll be able to ride it, so to speak, right? But even besides that, we take a look at how oftentimes people like to say that, oh, why are you getting the internet computer? Why don't you just get Ethereum instead? But I just don't get this argument, because even just based off of like pure fundamentals, I don't really like Ethereum to begin with, because sky-high gas fees, arguably not even scalable. You don't see any of that type of stuff with the internet computer. And also on the internet computer, I think you kind of get more bang for your buck in a sense. Now, what do I mean by this? You take a look at, for $1 worth of smart contract data on Ethereum, you can get around 44 bytes, but on the internet computer, you can get over 200 million bytes. So that's crazy. Also on top of that, the average cost per instruction on the internet computer is over 40 million times less expensive than Ethereum. And yeah, you heard that right. It's not more expensive, it's less. So that's how impressive the internet computer is. Sometimes people don't understand this because they say, oh wow, the name sounds kind of corny, it's a caca project, all this type of stuff. But I disagree. I think it's a very special project, and arguably I think it's one of the best. It's so revolutionary, and sometimes people just don't understand that. But I think better days are ahead, because of course, when something is this amazing, I think the sky's the limit. So with all that being said, ICP at the price of $250 is too much to ask for during this bull run? No, I disagree with that. I think hypothetically that's very possible. Now, my second price target is ICP at the price of $375. Now, some people may think, okay, $250, right? $250 was insane, let alone this. What do you mean? But I disagree, because let's say ICP were to go to that price, considering current circulating supply, at that point, market cap would actually only be around $177 billion. Now, some people may be thinking, okay, that's a lot, man. What do you mean? That's nearly 200 billion. Well, here's the thing. We've seen Ethereum reach, around $550 billion in market cap. That's over $500 billion, keep in mind. And just like I mentioned, earlier on in the video, I just think that the internet computer is a lot better. And even statistically, there has been information that shows this, right? you take a look at, again, in terms of cost savings for $1 worth of smart contract data. Also on top of that, doesn't have crazy gas fees. So if Ethereum can reach over 550 billion, around that range, why can't ICP at least go to around 177 billion? That's just the way I view it. Now, I'm not saying that ICP is going to go to like a $1 trillion market cap or something like that. But again, this is like way less than what Ethereum reached at its peak. And you also have to take this into consideration. Even though the internet computer doesn't have like the fans or the hype of Ethereum, for instance, I just believe that it has a much higher ceiling. Because, for instance, right, if I was looking to like build an AI project, let's say, why would I choose Ethereum? That would just make no sense. I don't want to deal with like crazy gas fees or scalability issues, because oftentimes, a lot of these new developers, I would say, right, arguably speaking, they don't really care about the fans or the hype. A lot of them, they care about, hey, how can this benefit the project? Because unless they're building some sort of like meme coin where they do need a lot of hype or fans, I understand that. But when it comes to just pure fundamentals, like let's say someone's looking for low gas fees, something that's very fast, very scalable, I just don't really know why they would choose Ethereum in this day and age. But of course, I think Ethereum is still going to grow. I don't think it's bad at all, but I just think that arguably speaking, the internet computer is just far better. I think it's a much better environment for a project to be in. But yeah, even besides that, again, ICP at the price of $375, I don't see why not. I don't think it's so crazy, to be honest, when I consider just how amazing the internet computer is. Now, my next and final price target is, of course, ICP at the price of $500. Now, some people may think that, oh man, 250 was crazy, right? 375 was insane, let alone this. This is absurd. This is insane. But I disagree because, first of all, before I get into that, I do want to explain why I think this bull run could be so amazing and how this could very well allow ICP to reach those great heights. You take a look at how back in 2021, everyone loved the bull run that year. But actually at that time, things could potentially be not as great as what we can see this time around, because back then, during the peak of that bull run, there was roughly only around 300 million crypto owners. Pretty impressive again at that time, but now we have over 600 million. So you can only imagine that. That's like pretty much double. You could imagine only the FOMO, the buying pressure, the buying volume. It's going to be ridiculous. Also on top of that, Bitcoin ETF, that's amazing. Number of institutional investors, enterprise adoption for Bitcoin is just through the roof. So with all those amazing factors, let's say Bitcoin goes to the price of like $150,000, I don't see why ICP won't go to the price of $500 at that point, really. I mean, at that point, most likely the altcoin season is going to look crazy. So yeah, I don't see why not. And it's not like the internet computer is like relatively unknown. It's not like people don't really know about it. It has a lot of fans. The ecosystem also for the internet computer is heading up there. It has great exposure as well when it comes to ICP. You take a look at how it's listed in a lot of major exchanges. So it's not like this unknown project that I just came up with and said, yeah, it's going to do well. That's not the case. It's a good project, but it already has a good community. It has a lot of fans, very passionate community, but also on top of that, again, exposure is amazing. So when you combine that, right, the potential FOMO, buying pressure and buying volume, I think could be insane, especially when the sentiment really changes for the better. But it's going to be a matter of time though, because you take a look at how this type of stuff doesn't happen like a day or like, 2 days after I upload this. And this actually brings me to my point as to why I titled this video 2025 price targets, because, typically altcoins, they've been known to peak anywhere between 6 to 18 months after a Bitcoin halving event. However, I think this time around 6 months is a little bit too optimistic. And even historically speaking, this has been the case. But even besides that, again, that's the best case. Usually worst case is around 18 months. Now, if we base this off the last Bitcoin halving event, which happened back in April, 6 months is October this year, 2024. Now, 18 months is, of course, October of 2025. But again, I think, 6 months is a little bit too optimistic. Let's say we take a middle ground approach. Let's say 12 months, right? A year. That's still April of 2025. So that's kind of the range I'm looking at, sometime around 2025, which is why, again, I tell this video, ICP 2025 price targets. But granted, could it happen sooner? Maybe. But again, I think something like Bitcoin is going to take some time to truly showcase what it's capable of. Also, altcoins and ICP. So that's why I'm taking a look at next year, aka 2025. Now, with that being said, though, if you take a look at, is that necessarily a bad thing? No, I don't think so, because you take a look at how it's actually more time for me to accumulate, so I don't mind. Now, granted, I've been waiting for quite a while now, so if it happens sooner, that'd be great as well. Time to go to Sizzler. If you know, you know. But even if I have to wait a little bit longer, let's say like, around a year from right now, fine, more time for me to accumulate anyways. And not to mention, Bitcoin, it did reach a new all-time high this year, That was awesome. It had a major pullback. But again, I think better days are ahead. 2025, I think things could look so different. All I got to do right now is just stay patient. Again, dollar cost average, accumulating, holding, and just waiting. That's it. That's the only thing I can control. And again, ICP at the price of $500 during this bull run, that wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. I think there are so many bullish factors going on for it. I think the Internet Computer is such an amazing project, and I can't wait to show what it's capable of, hypothetically speaking, of course. And make sure to subscribe if you gained value from this video. I'd greatly appreciate it. It's been Lee the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.